It's time now for Mark Meets, and tonight, filmmaker and conservationist Rodney Fox, who was just 23 himself when he was attacked by a great white shark whilst competing in the South Australia Spearfishing Championship in 1963. Some 462 stitches later, that's right, after 462 stitches, he is regarded as one of the luckiest shark attack survivors in the world. The damage to his body was horrific. All of his ribs were shattered on his left side. His diaphragm was punctured, his lungs were ripped open, and his shoulder blade and artery were left exposed. Fox's hand was also badly damaged when it went into the shark's mouth as he tried to push it away. And to this day, he still has part of one of its teeth embedded in his wrist. Jaws eat your heart out. Rodney Fox, welcome to Mark Dolan tonight. Congratulations on your survival. How close were you to death?
Well, Mark, I don't really know. I think luck and if there is a God, he was looking after me, because it was so close on many occasions that my luck turned the right way. It was I've been telling this story now. It's nearly 60 years since my shark attack, and I've had to tell it so often I can relive it and remember most of the bits about it. So it's got me a lot of free drinks around the world, I can tell you.
Rightly so. Can you tell me about the terror of being attacked by one of these creatures? The emotions as it's happening?
Yeah, I was in the South Australian Spearfishing Championships. There were 40 divers, and we had to weigh in 2 of each species of fish. And spearfishing in those days was a fairly big thing, and hardly anybody had entered the sea and knew much about sharks. You know, in those days, the best shark was a dead shark, and if you know every shark, and there were so many hundreds. I see you've got a great white there on the screen now, yeah. And it was amazing. I had never seen one before. I swam well offshore trying to get a special fish called a dusky moorworm, and I dived, holding my breath. I dived down in about 20 metres of water, and I was just saw the fish I wanted, and I was drifting in with my gun in front of me, and I knew I had that fish. I was so close, and I was just about to squeeze the trigger when this huge thump and crash hit me in the chest, knocked the gun out of my hand, the mask off my face, and I was hurled through the water faster than I'd ever swam before. First of all, I thought I'd been hit by a train. I don't know, but that just entered my mind. And then I realised I was underwater and it had to be a giant shark. Now, I talked to a couple of the guys about what we could do to protect ourselves. So I gouged its eyes as much as I could, and it seemed to let me go. And I pushed off, but my hand went in its mouth right over its big white teeth, and I dragged them out, and before it could bite me again, I put my arms around its body in a bear hug and held on so it couldn't bite me. And then I realised I'm still 20 metres underwater holding my breath and I'm going to drown. So I headed to the surface and I got up and took one breath, and then this memories that I have now of this big head coming towards me with big white teeth through pink water, which is all my blood. And it's coming, and I thought, I have nothing to protect myself. What can I do? What can I do? I kicked as hard as I could, and I kicked at the shark's head, but it turned and swallowed 2 fish that I had on a buoy, and that was connected to my waist. And the shark grabbed that, dived, and dragged me underwater again. So I'm spinning behind the rope, and I'm trying to reach the rope with my good hand because my right hand was badly mangled, and I couldn't find the quick release. But a miracle happened. The line broke. The shark had actually severed 3/4 the way through the line when it bit me around the chest. So I managed to get to the surface, and another miracle, a boat was coming over to look what all this red water was. Oh. And I came up in the middle of it. They dragged me in, raced me into hospital. at speeds. The ambulance had two policemen with sirens on the front of it, and they stopped all the red lights, and the doctor stitched me up, and he was quite pleased with himself that I survived.
Yeah, I mean, the medics,
it's amazing.
Rodney, the medics did a great job. This was in 1963. No disrespect, but they didn't have the technology or the expertise that we have now, did they? How long was your recuperation?
It was a 4 or 5 hour operation. Somebody worked on my hand while the other guy worked on my chest. And my lung, I had 29 stitches in my lung, and I asked the doctor how they went about it, which was quite interesting, really. He was a bit of a dry doctor in his speech, and he said to me, well, first of all, we put 29 stitches in the lung. There was a little bit left over, so we gave it off, cut it off and gave it to the hospital cat. Then he said we pulled in the diaphragm, and then we had to join up all of the ribs because every rib in your left side was broken. Oh. We joined up the ribs and then the muscles, and then, like any good plumber, he said, we covered in the hole. And then I think everybody prayed, and I managed to survive.
Well, look, I'm so glad you did. You're a wonderful man. After a long recovery, you faced your fears. You started the Rodney Fox Shark Expeditions, the world's only ocean floor shark cage experience. You established the Fox Shark Research Foundation with the aim of educating people about the importance of these animals for the ecosystem. And you advised on the movie Jaws. It's been a privilege to have you on the show, Rodney. Keep on fighting.